Oh look, it's a Call of Duty game, one of the worst series ever devised by a corporate boardroom that's boring as shit. I'm sure this review is going to be great! Oh no, wait a minute, but that might have been sarcasm, but I seem to remember something about this Call of Duty. Something that was something different, something big. Oh yeah, that's right. It was the most disliked Call of Duty ever. Not only that, but the second most disliked video on all of YouTube of all time. But hey, this was months and months ago. Surely, with all their months and feedback and the shit Activision got, they would go back and change it for the better. I mean, we did talk mere days ago in the Skylanders Imaginators review that Activision is on a sinking ship in Blizzard's clutches, so they need to not fuck up. So surely they went back and fixed it. Nope. If anything, they saw all the negativity and somehow made it worse. I mean, I guess if you're already up shit creek without a paddle, might as well go all the way and throw a bit of shit at the passers-by. So, where do we begin with this train wreck? Well, first, how about that gosh dang installation time? As Jimmy Boy here is tweeting, the time to install is ridiculous, which it is. And what the fuck are you installing? As we're getting into this review, you will see there is fuck all on this game. Like Overwatch has more in it, and that was done in minutes. Oh, but wait, that's because Overwatch had all of its content ready to go after the installation, which takes about 5 minutes. With Call of Duty here, the installation that takes around 10 minutes is only installing the fucking menu. Yes, your disc that you get from the shop, you know, the Blu-ray, them things that can hold like a terabyte of data because, you know, their Blu-ray only has a fucking menu on it, which must only take up, what, like 10 gigabytes? So please, Activision, please tell me what the fuck is on the other 990 gigabytes. So, because only the menu, yes, let me repeat that again, because only the 10 gigabyte menu is on the 1 terabyte disc, you get loaded to a screen where everything is locked off and you have to wait for the day one patch to get all the shit. This is the image that we're talking about. This is the thing that Jim's tweeting about, how you've got to get this day one patch. And that takes forever. I clocked that shit at 20 minutes. Because, you know, it's not like you could have put your shitty little campaign on the 1 terabyte disc. But anyway, all that shit's downloaded, and now we can play the game for realsies.
For realsies?
Yes, Sonata. For realsies. Well, kind of. You see, for the multiplayer, well...
Multiplayer? I ain't touching it again. It's impenetrable at this point.
But multiplayer is shit. There's no anti-cheat. There's nobody playing. Nobody plays shit except for Team Deathmatch. And nobody wants to play any other mode because they can't. There's no population there.
I would not bother. First off, there is only one mode that is anywhere close to decent or even anywhere playable, because that's the only mode anybody's playing, that being Team Deathmatch. Nothing else. Every other mode is dead. Second, it's like Battlefield 1, that being there is no spawn timer or invincibility frames, so the second you land, you are most likely going to die.
Okay. Don't worry, dudes. I got a good feeling about this one. And that's it on the take. Goodbye. Please don't have a tank. Please don't have a tank. Ooh, no tank. Okay, now we can get to work.
Yeah.
Alright, I'm telling you guys, once I get out of the spawn, I go crazy in this game. Are you fucking kidding? How am I the top guy on the team? I get to play. Never mind. You guys, I've been alive for like 20 seconds now. I think Can I just please play the game? Do you get to play the game in this game?
So the second you land, you are most likely going to die and have to wait a minute or two to respawn just to die again. And third, the only mode that's worth playing, Team Deathmatch, sucks, as A, there is only a small handful of maps, B, the maps are very samey, and C, they tried to add ultimates without looking at Overwatch. So when you get a hit or a kill, this meter at the bottom fills up, and when it's full, you get to use an ultimate, be it like Widowmaker's infrared to see where the other players are, Roadhog's whole hog that is a rapid fire high damage machine gun for a few seconds, or Hanzo's normal non-ultimate arrows that insta-kill you because Hanzo is overpowered piece of shit. And that's your lot for multiplayer. Good job there, guys. Really hit that one out of the park. So, next up is the zombie mode. Yeah, there's a zombie mode. We've seen it before. Again, good job, because it's not pointless and stale at this point. So, we will move on again. So, last up is the single player. And like the other two modes, it's bland, boring, and sucks, and lasts little more than 2 to 3 hours, and is pretty much a bootleg Halo. You know, being in space, and all the space story, and the space stuff, and the Space Marines. And is it not so ironic? When Halo came out, everyone was calling it nothing more than a bootleg Call of Duty clone. Well, it seems the wheel hath turned, and we have come full circle from Halo ripping off and being a Call of Duty clone to Call of Duty ripping off and being a Halo clone. Yeah, but Spyro, we don't care that we paid $60 for a 2-hour single-player campaign. It's not even on the disc in the shitty zombies mode. We care about the multiplayer. It's what it's all about. Sure, it has no spawn timer, it's a bit of a pain in the ass. But we get to play with our friends. We get to add hundreds of hours to our playtime via the playing with our friends. Yeah. About that, well, I would not get too attached to that idea if I were you, depending on what system your friends and yourself have. So I left this part out of the multiplayer to add it to the end, as this is the single most stupid thing Activision could have and did do, and it's what's put the final nail in Infinite Warfare's coffin. I want to state that I'm not a Call of Duty fan. I never have been. If my friend had the new one, I would play a few rounds with him, but there was never anything special. And not being the biggest Call of Duty fan, I don't exactly know how this works, or how it has worked in the past, so please do feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. But the thing that has really got everyone's knickers in a twist about this particular Call of Duty is the fact that Infinite Warfare is no longer cross-platform, but to the point where it's not even cross-platform on the same platform. Allow me to elaborate. So, if you go into a store and you physically buy the PC disc of Infinite Warfare and install it, you're installing what I assume is the Windows 10 version of Infinite Warfare, but if you buy it digitally via Steam, you're installing the Steam version of Infinite Warfare. And even though they are both made using the same .exe, and they're both on PC, the digital Steam version and the physical Windows 10 version are not cross-compatible. So, not only have you split up the user base with consoles and PCs being separated, but you then split it a second time by having the physical Windows version not be compatible with the Steam digital version. What the fuck, Activision? And again, this is a little bit hard to explain. Angry Joe might be able to explain better. I mean, he's a Call of Duty fan. He'll help me out here. So let's watch him and we'll commentate with him.
But I'm telling you today, do not buy Call of Duty on PC because they've chosen to split an already smaller player base. If you buy it on Windows 10, if you buy a physical copy on PC, if you buy it on, through Microsoft, the player base is completely different than the Steam guys. So if you buy it on Steam, you are not playing with those guys. It's not cross-compatible. They've split the player base, which makes no sense because this is peer-to-peer connections. For no fucking reason, you already took a smaller player base and cut it in half. What the fuck? This is hugely anti-consumer. There is absolutely no fucking reason for this other than maybe some sort of fucking exclusive deal between Microsoft and
exclusivity. I know how that feels. Sombra. Please continue, Angry Joe.
Fucking terrible on PC. And so I got the game and I jumped right into multiplayer. Now, campaign, actually I'll talk about that in a second, but multiplayer is shit. There's no anti-cheat. There's nobody playing. Nobody plays shit except for Team Deathmatch, and nobody wants to play any other mode because they can't. There's no population there, and you're sitting there. You're either a strict nat or moderate nat because they're still using these shit peer-to-peer connections in 2016 that open you up to hackers, to DDoSers, to fucked up bullshit.
Wait, what? Whoa! Stop right there, Joe. The PC version opens you up to hacking and DDoSing?
Using these shit peer-to-peer connections in 2016 that open you up to hackers, to DDoSers, to fucked up bullshit.
What? Hold on. What did he say? Let me look this up. Peer-to-peer connections. Okay, so here we are on the peer-to-peer Wikipedia page. Not the most accurate web page for information, I know, but it's just to give us a general feel of what this is. Not read it yet, but let's see if we can figure out just if Joe is really hyping this up as a bad thing, or if it's like you're not really going to be hacked. So let's all have a read of it together and see what we can find here. So, peer-to-peer computing or network is a distribution application that partitions tasks and workloads between peers. Peers are equally privileged when participating in the application. They are said to form a peer-to-peer network of nodes. Peers make a portion of their resources, such as processing power, disk storage, or network bandwidth, directly available to other network participants without the need for central coordination by servers or stable hosts. Peer-to-peers are both supplied by consumers of resources and client servers. I'm just trying to skim through to see if we can find the security risks that he's bringing up. I think it is going to be down in the contents, and this is just like Napster originally released the idea in 1999. But I'm just going to have a quick skim through here. So the resources are divided, emerging collaborations beyond the era, peer-to-peer, doing similar tasks, and looking for divisive peers is to virtually thereby empowering and emerging great tasks beyond the peer-to-peer. Okay, so yes, it's definitely not in there. That's just a brief history. So historical developments, architecture, structure, security and trust. Okay, well there's a whole section on it, so I guess that's where we want to go. Peer-to-peer systems pose unique challenges for a computer security perspective. Like any other form of software, peer-to-peer applications can contain vulnerabilities full stop. What makes this particularly dangerous for peer-to-peer software, however, is that peer-to-peer applications act as servers as well as clients, meaning that they can be more vulnerable to remote exploits. Oh, goody! That's encouraging for everybody to know, Activision. I'm only going to read the 2. I'm not going to go all the way through it, but let's read about routing attacks, which is probably the main thing considering you're going to be playing online. Since each node plays a role in routing traffic through the network, malicious users can perform a variety of routing attacks or denial of service attacks. Examples of common routing attacks include incorrect looking up routing, whereby malicious nodes deliberately forward requests incorrectly or return false results. Incorrect routing updates, where malicious nodes corrupt the routing tables of neighboring nodes by sending them false information, and incorrect routing network partitions, where when new nodes are joined, they bootstrap via malicious nodes, which places the new nodes in a platform of the network that is populated by other malicious nodes. Oh, this is sounding fantastic that you're using this system. Good. So, let's have a look at data violation and, of course, malware. The biggest threat, and, you know, if it's console, I guess it's not so bad because you don't program viruses, but we're talking about the PC version, which is malware is the most dangerous to your PC. The prevalence of malware varies between different peer-to-peer protocols, well, the fact that it's there at all is a dangerous thing indeed. Studies analysed the spread of malware on P2P networks found, for example, 63%! That's more than half, Activision! That's more than half! 63% of the answers downloaded requests on the LimeWire network contain some form of malware, whereas only 3% of the content on OpenFT contained malware. Well, both fucking contain malware. In both cases, the top 3 most common types of malware accounted for a large majority of the case. 99 fucking percent and 65 in malware. Another study analysed traffic on the Kaiser network found that 15% of the 500,000 files sampled were infected by one or more of the 365 different computer viruses that were tested. Are you fucking with me, Activision? Corrupted data can also be distributed on P2P networks by modifying files that are already being shared on the network. For example, on the Fast Track network, the Rhine network introduced fake chunks into downloads and downloaded files, mostly MP3 files. File interface with RIA. Viruses were unusable afterwards and contained malicious code. The RIAA, also known to have uploaded fake music to P2P networks in order to deter illegal file sharing. Consequently, the P2P networks of today have seen an enormous increase of security and file verification methods. I mean, just the fact that it's still possible. Modern hashing, chunk verification, and different encryption methods have been made most networks resistant to almost any type of attack, even the majority of the respective parts. Yes, but, you know, Blizzard got DDoSed, and we know that how big Overwatch is, and Blizzard got DDoSed. Then Battlefield 1 came out, and the entire PlayStation 4 network, the entire PSN went down from a DDoSing attack because people didn't want you to play Battlefield 1. So the fact that this is even fucking possible is ridiculous. I can't actually... I'm going to calm down for a minute and go back to the normal review, but I can't actually believe that Activision is this negligent to use this kind of system, which is apparently the most vulnerable to malware and malicious packages. So let's go back to the review. What the fuck, Activision? Are you fucking insane? You are using one of the most hackable server things around. Jesus, like, I knew you were stupid, but I didn't realise you were this fucking stupid. I mean, this peer-to-peer connection thing is an entirely different realm of stupidity. So, my final verdict for Call of Duty Infinite Warfare is a abysmal 0 out of 5. There is nothing of any worth here. I can't even say, oh, it's got good music or it's got pretty graphics, as it's the same old worn out music and graphics that we've all seen 1,000 times before. Then we have this whole PC problem, and I urge you, if you are going to buy this, do not, I repeat, do not buy it on PC, especially the physical Windows 10 version. And this is not some joke or skit bit. No, this time, this is real fucking serious. I want to protect you, and I don't want you getting hacked. You know, your password, credit card information, where you fucking live can be on your PC. And I really don't want any of you getting hacked or DDoSed or, heaven forbid, doxed. I'm new to this peer-to-peer thing, but from what Joe and the wiki is saying, this is a shit and downright dangerous connection method, and Activision should know better. You might think I'm being a bit harsh giving it a zero, but I can't, in all good consciousness, even give a game a score when it's knowingly, willingly putting its consumers at a very real risk of hacking via this connection method. I get it can't happen on PS4, but I did not play that version. I played the PC version. It's fucking dangerous, Activision. You should know better. But even if this was not the case, as I said before, the game is extremely boring and doesn't have any kind of new life in it. And you all know that's true when Farming Simulator is beating you. A fucking Farming Simulator. And even if we were to take Joe's statement of the 15,000 here, yeah, okay, this picture says 13,000, but if we were to take Joe's statement of 15,000 for all time, that's still not even half of Farming Simulator. And on top of both of these is the scummy and almost shady installation method in which the game installing on the console is only installing the menu. Then you still have to wait for the rest of the game to install in a day one patch. I don't care what shit you feed me, Activision. Infinite Warfare is not 1 terabyte big. All that content that I witnessed was less than 1 terabyte, and all that content could have fit on that disc. If you're not putting the full game on the disc, then you should not be selling it for $60. Not that the game is even worth that much. But I think its biggest problem, the thing that really killed it to the point where it was not coming back, is 2 major things. 1, the time of release. We have 4 really big games blasting big stuff out. First, just 1 week ago, we had Battlefield 1 that garnered a huge amount of positive press both during its promotion and at the time of release, far more than Infinite Warfare ever did. Then, 2 days ago, literally the day that Infinite Warfare released, we had Blizzard at BlizzCon hitting up the reveal of Sombra, who can turn invisible and would change the game drastically. Both, as you know, are shooters. 2 very big shooters with big things planned. So it's a Battleborn situation. Infinite Warfare coming out this close to Battlefield 1 and Sombra, combined with how bad the trailer and the press leading up to it was, means Call of Duty did not have a fucking chance. It was dead before it even came out. It was Glass Joe going up against Mike Tyson. You knew what the outcome was before the fight even happened. Then we have what is set to be a fantastic Christmas release this year. Pokemon Sun and Moon, Shantae, Half Genie Hero, World of Final Fantasy that I picked up literally today at the time of recording this, Final Fantasy 15 and Sombra set for full public release, and much, much more. All of this that everybody wants, everybody is hyping. So, why would anyone pay £45, $60 for a mediocre, subpar shooter when they could save up their money for a week and get something that they really want, that they really had time and effort and actual soul put into it, Activision? That and all military shooters are just boring now. Like Toys to Life and motion controls, they were just a phase, a passing fad. I mean, aside from Battlefield 1 that got lucky with some good publicity, let's take a peek. We've got Call of Duty here being some mediocre shit and not getting any sales compared to Farming Simulator. Then Titanfall 2. Let's look at the footage. A generic man with a generic gun, with its sales being pretty subpar. Jim even did an entire Jim Sterling episode on it.
Fail. At the time of talking, analysts are predicting Titanfall 2 sales to be, and I quote, substantially disappointing, having lowered their expectations for the game's performance. Following its release, EA stock lowered by 3%, and in the UK, Games Press are already calling the game a flop. It sold less copies than the original at launch, despite the first being Xbox One exclusive on console. In the charts over there, it came in behind Battlefield 1, FIFA 17, and Skyrim Special Edition, a re-release of a 5-year-old game. By contrast, the original Titanfall stayed number 1 in the charts for 5 weeks, and in an industry where sequels are expected to eclipse their predecessors, this is not looking good at all.
Yes, Jim, because it's boring to play as generic, silent soldier man with a gun. But then we look at things like Overwatch, Paladins, Battleborn. We've got a diverse cast of all classes, from tanks to supports to full-on assault to stealth, each with extreme and crazy personalities. And even though they are all ridiculous extremes, they are more relatable because they have personality and charisma, or lack thereof, like real living things, not just generic, emotionless, perfect white American hero soldier man. No one cares about perfect, generic, emotionless, white American hero soldier man anymore. And it's starting to show. And while it might purely be coincidence, is it not funny that Blizzard, the very company that has Activision on a leash and is trying to buy them out, is it not funny that they announced this new character that can turn invisible for their shooter and is really going to shake up the core gameplay literally on the same day as Infinite Warfare's release? Sombra certainly got a lot of people's attention, and a lot more people were looking at Blizzard that day than they were Activision. Ooh, how coincidental that you just announced an update for your shooter on the same day that your rival shooter launches. The rival that you're also trying to buy out. And seems Call of Duty is one of Activision's biggest franchise that makes the most money. Would it not be a shame if something from another shooter were to overshadow it, making them lose lots of money and making it easier for you to buy them? Now, I'm not saying Blizzard did put Sombra out at the same time for that reason, but it is very coincidental that Sombra's announcement got everybody looking at Blizzard on that day, and just so happened to impact the company that they're trying to buy out in a very negative way. However, Blizzard, even if that was your clever plan, don't act like you're smarter than Activision. They were doomed the moment that trailer went up and got 3 million dislikes. And of course, On this subject of Infinite War's failure and Call of Duty's decline in popularity, it's continuing the prophecy of Blizzard just needing a couple more fuck-ups, or Activision screwing something up a few more times for them to buy them out completely. As now, they have 3 of the worst games out this year and 1 mediocre one. We have the cheap cash-in of the Ninja Turtles game that sold absolutely abysmally, the Ghostbusters 2016 game that was controversial enough, being it was the female Ghostbusters and it wasn't even the female Ghostbusters, but then you made it even worse, and it literally makes anyone who plays it want to hang themselves because it is that absolute garbage. It's ride to hell levels. And now a bland, generic first-person shooter that nobody cares about, with a user base that's been split apart from each other, causing all the servers to be dead, causing a decline in players, and they're leaving and you're being outdone by Farming Simulator. And then Skylanders Imaginators, which, while not bad, the Toys to Life gimmick is dead and no one's buying it, and you're losing money just making the toys. And now, well, the well is all but dry. The only thing, and I mean the only thing, keeping Activision afloat right now is the promise of the Crash HD remakes and Destiny 2. And they're not coming out till next year. Destiny 2 might not even happen. That's a story for another day. But they're not happening till next year. So Activision is safe for now. But with this latest fuck up, not only can they feel it, but everyone that was skeptical of what Blizzard were doing, well, they're not anymore. With Infinite Warfare's less than average performance, which is basically Armageddon for them as it's their best selling franchise, that fuck up has now started the crank turning, and everyone can see it. It's no longer Activision swimming around freely with a leash on them to keep them in check. It's done a really big stupid, and now it's time to reel in that IP-laden fish. It's the end of the year. There's nowhere to run, and they've got no other IPs coming out this year left to hide behind. And now they're being pulled towards Blizzard's fishing boat fast. The only thing that will save them is the Crash HD remakes. And to be honest, I'm not even sure that's enough. One game can't save a company. Granted, they said if Crash HD is great, they will be making others like Spyro HD. However, they only have Crash HD right now, the one thing. And if Crash doesn't do well, then that's it. And I'm kind of on the fence, okay? Because in a way, I want the Crash HD series to be really bad. Now that might garner me some negative criticism, but hear me out here, okay? If Crash gets fucked up, that kills Activision dead, and Blizzard takes the lot. And then you get an even better Crash and Spyro remake by Blizzard. So part of me does want Crash to fail to see Activision go down, but part of me does want it to be great for all of the Crash fans, because you've suffered enough. And I don't think you want to end up in my boat where, you know, Skylanders Academy and all that bad shit. So, my closing statement for their performance and what happened this year is, if I'm a betting man, I would put money on Activision not being around by 2020. The hooks are in and the rope is shortening moment by moment. And it's no longer a silly little joke or a rumour. Their biggest franchise, doing subpar, has now showed the world that they are really out of time. And if Activision is not around in the next 3 years, or I see Crash and myself with Blizzard, well, I can't say I'd be surprised. And now, the last Activision game's ending really holds up. So, I look forward to 2017 Activision as your time is up, and it will be do or die for you.
Take your time to run and hide. I will catch you all the time. This night no longer shines. Your tears divine. You'll now be